On today's solo Sunday news, we've the identity of Survivor Series Master Attacker. Liv Morgan returns at WWE Survivor Series. A WWE retirement storyline has been pitched for Chris Jericho. And there's the original WrestleMania 42 Night 2 main event that has been revealed. Hello and welcome to WhatCulture Wrestling, the solo Sunday news. Myself, Andrew Pollard. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. I hope your weekend is going as well as possible. Me, I will absolutely take a point yesterday. A point I'm not sure my beloved Wrexham actually deserved against Blackburn Rovers, but up the town. Anyways, wrestling. And more specifically, WWE Survivor Series WarGames, where the main event was the men's WarGames match and concluded with an appearance from a mystery attacker. Now, as the match went on, it came down to CM Punk hitting Logan Paul with the GTS for a near fall, and then a masked man from head to toe in black, their face covered. They scaled the double cage, stood in the middle of Punk and Bron Breakker. I guess the intent there was supposed to be to tease who that person was going to attack. Though that was never really in doubt, was it? It was always going to be CM Punk, and it was CM Punk. But anyway, that mystery attacker, they attacked Punk. They hit, I guess you could call it a short super kick, the super kick that Seth Rollins does. Then hit the curb stomp on Punk before exiting the cage, leading to Bron Breakker hitting Punk with a spear to get the 1, 2, 3. Now, the way it was sold on commentary was that this person, they might actually be Seth Rollins, though Wade Barrett did point out how Seth had recently undergone shoulder surgery. But yes, this was a very Seth Rollins-like sequence, should we say, from this masked attacker. And for a spoiler who was under the mask, I mean, hey, I'll give you a quick 5-second pause in case you want to skip ahead. A 5-second pause, a la the old Edge and Christian days, for the benefit of those with flash photography. Right, that's my 5 seconds. Yes, per PW Insider, the mystery attacker was Austin Theory, which is something that's also been backed up since by Fightful Select as well. Now, for those who may have missed it, Dave Meltzer originally reported months ago that Austin Theory was due to be a part of this WarGames match, originally due to team with The Vision, with the Seth Rollins-led Vision. Now, of course, that was before Seth got injured at Crown Jewel against Cody Rhodes. And, to be fair to Dave, he has been way off with several things in recent months and recent years. But in terms of Survivor Series, at that same time, he reported that Lash Legend would be a part of the women's WarGames match, which at the time, that seemed like a totally random, totally out of nowhere report. A totally random, totally out of nowhere report that obviously came true. That Rollins injury seemingly derailed those theory plans, with A-Town Down seemingly set for a spot in the Vision back then. But now, though, now it looks like Austin Theory could well be the latest member of that group. Sure, the person playing the masked attacker last night could always be replaced by somebody else when that attacker is unmasked, is revealed. But by all accounts, yeah, the attacker last night was indeed Austin Theory. So, I'd expect a little more on this when Raw rolls around tomorrow. The other big headline coming out of Survivor Series is not only did Dominic Mysterio beat John Cena to become a 2-time Intercontinental Champion, but Dirty Dom did so with an assist from the returning Liv Morgan. Now, Liv made a return after 5 months on the sidelines. I think it was nearly 5 months through injury, a shoulder injury, another shoulder injury. And it was her return came about just as John Cena seemed to have the match won. By this point, we'd had interference from, all of the Judgment Day. And Dom just could not get the job done, brother. And then Liv's music hit. She ran out to the ring. She stared at Dom and then slapped Dirty Dom. And it was a pretty hefty pop, to be fair, man. That crowd was all in for this. And then Liv kind of jumped into Cena's arms. It was a move a little reminiscent of AJ Lee back in the day. That's what it reminded me of. And then there was this nice, tight camera shot of Liv's face as she got this kind of crazed look in her eyes. And then when Cena dropped Liv, she swiftly kicked him in the balls. Yes, ma'am. Nutshots, indeed. Nutshot City. And that allowed Dom to hit the 619, a frog splash, get the win to become a 2-time IC champ. Yes, pick up a win in John Cena's final ever PLE match, which is quite the feather to have in your cap, especially when you're a scumbag heel like Dominic Mysterio. That's quite the honor, man. Not just wrestling John Cena's final PLE match, but to get a win over him. That's something for Dom to. I'm sure we will be hearing a lot more from Dirty Dom about that in the coming weeks, months, years. Who knows? Something great to harp on about. And while John Cena is on the cusp of retirement, one other name who could be getting a grand WWE send-off is AEW's Chris Jericho. Yes, now there have been plenty reports out there that Jericho's AEW contract is up at the end of this year. There's also been plenty of reports that WWE has interest in Jericho, as well as Tony Khan being eager to keep Jericho in AEW. I mean, the inaugural AEW World Champion, Le Champion. Now, Jericho's been off TV for, Been off TV for, I think it's April, which is crazy, man. That's a fair old absence. We're in November now. I think it was April the last time we saw him. There was a Fozzy tour, but that's never really been an issue. I mean, Jericho has toured with Fozzy many, many times and still been able to make appearances for AEW on Dynamite and on pay-per-views. But with plenty of speculation about Jericho's future, the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter notes that WWE has pitched a retirement storyline to Jericho. Per the Observer, WWE has a solid plan in place for Jericho, a plan that would lead to his in-ring retirement. So it's not like they're just kind of saying like, oh, just come and join us and we'll figure it out from there. It's like, no, we've got this kind of mapped out. You come in, you do this, we'll blah, 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 blah. You get the big send off. Cracking. So there are some plans in place should Jericho indeed choose to return to WWE. And Dave Meltzer also notes that he believes that all signs are currently pointing towards Chris Jericho, yes, returning to WWE once his deal is up. Now, this report also adds how some in WWE expect Jericho to be back with the company early next year. Again, that would line up with all of that speculation of Jericho possibly being in the Royal Rumble, though nothing is confirmed at this stage in the game. Now, previously, Fightful Select as well reported how Jericho would be able to, would be expected, to get an offer of several $1 million per year in WWE, although AEW is capable of matching that. I mean, for me, though, then, you have to question whether AEW should realistically be offering that sort of deal to a 55-year-old who, whilst, Jericho is so important to that company. He's so integral to the early success of the promotion. It's easy to kind of almost gloss over that now. Without Chris Jericho, I don't think we get the AEW that we got early on, just in terms of a mainstream name to come in with that. Yes, Kenny Omega is fantastic. Hangman Adam Page has become the guy. The Young Bucks were big names. Cody was big names. There were lots of important figures, but I think Chris Jericho is as important, if not more so, than a lot of people involved in that company early on. But at this point in the game, when you've got a 55-year-old Chris Jericho who hasn't been utilized, even when he was on TV, he's not been utilized as a featured player because, again, dwindling down in his career. So it's like, should you be offering, if you're AEW, should you be matching that WWE offer, or just, I don't know. For me, also there's not that much left for Chris Jericho to do in AEW. Yes, there are titles he has not won, but once you've been such a top star, such an important figurehead for the company, I don't know, man. I just think if I'm Chris Jericho, I'm eyeing that retirement run in WWE. A big return, the huge response, the massive pop you're going to get, another WrestleMania match, and then just kind of, wind down towards the Hall of Fame down the line. But that's just me. That is me spitballing here on a Sunday morning full of caffeine. Yes, caffeine. It is your friend, brother. Swig of caffeine for the working man. Anyway, speaking of WrestleMania, there are some details on the original plans for WrestleMania 42. Yes, more specifically, the WrestleMania 42 Night 2 main event. Again, this comes from the Observer newsletter, where it's reported that not just was the original plan to go with Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 42, but that match was scheduled to be the Night 2 main event, which may be, I don't know, might be a little bit of a surprise, I think, to some people. With Seth Rollins' shoulder injury, though, those plans are obviously, I guess the best way you could put it is very much up in the air right now. And if anything, it looks like WWE is moving away from those plans. Roman has recently teased going after one of the company's men's world titles at WrestleMania 42. If anything, I guess WarGames last night leaned a little into Roman and Cody one more time, which to be honest, I've got no interest in that whatsoever. And to be fair, I do not think that will happen at WrestleMania 42. They will have a match again at some point down the line, but I don't think Mania 42, man. If it's me, I'm having Braun Breaker beat CM Punk for the World Heavyweight title at some point. Probably the Royal Rumble. Again, Braun Breaker pinning CM Punk last night is surely going to lead to something there. And then I have Punk win the Elimination Chamber in Chicago, go on to face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and then Roman, he faces Braun Breaker at Mania for the World Heavyweight title. Lots of beef there with Roman and Braun and the whole vision. I guess to get there, you have Roman winning the Royal Rumble, I guess. But hey, that's just me caffeinated and spitballing on a Sunday morning. But yes, those original plans, they called for Roman and Seth to close out WrestleMania 42 Night 2. And based on his comments on Bert Kreischer's Something's Burning earlier this week, it was a really fun chat, to be fair. It was Seth and it was Becky Lynch just chewing the fat while Burt cooks. But based on Seth's comments there, he's hopeful of being back just ahead of WrestleMania, maybe a month or two ahead of WrestleMania, though. I mean, as is ever the case with an injury like this, I mean, anything can happen between now and then. But hopefully he's back sooner rather than later. But yes, it's those road to recoveries, man. They have lots of little spikes in the road, so we'll see. And with that, be sure to check out the other excellent video that's floating around here somewhere. I'm off to get even more caffeinated and edit our Survivor Series ups and downs article. So keep an eye on that on WhatCulture.com for that one. From Scott Carlson, this has been What Culture Wrestling, though, the solo Sunday news. Myself, Andrew Pollard. Be well, stay safe, and I will catch you next weekend.